Welcome everyone to our Accudemia monthly session. We are so happy to see you here today. As always, we are doing this. We do this every second Tuesday of the month, starting at 1 o'clock. So, like I said, a little bit of housekeeping. Let's go through that first, and then I'll hand things over to Mark. So our agenda for today, Mark's going to start off with our tech talk, where he's going to be going over some of the updates in the latest Accudemia 11.3 version. We will take questions on that, and then we will also take general Q&A about Accudemia. We are scheduled to have a user spotlight. It sounds like maybe she might not be able to make it, in which case we can wrap up a little early today, but we will see what happens there. And of course, we have our Academic Center Summit coming up. I just want to remind everybody about that. That is going to take place October 26th to the 28th. And then make your plans to join us by March 31st. That's a little outdated, actually. We are still very much open to registration right now. Our keynote speaker is going to be Dr. Sanj McGuire. So we are really excited to see her in there. All right, so if you're interested in learning a little bit more, we are working on the schedule for that right now. We have our sessions. We just need to figure out where they all fit together. This is going to be both professional development for Learning Center professionals and academia training. So there's going to be opportunities for both, and along with a fun excursion to Winter Park and a poster session and lots of networking opportunities. So if you're interested in joining us, we'd love to see you. It's going to be on the grounds of UCF. We have also scheduled a visit to the Student Academic Resource Center on the UCF campus. So we hope that you will join us this October. And now I am going to go ahead and hand things over to Mark for the Tech Talk.
Hi, everyone. So today we're going to be covering the 11.3 update in Accudemia. So this is our most recent update, and there's a few features in here that I wanted to cover that are pretty useful for you guys. So figured we could do this for today's Tech Tuesday. So just getting into our PowerPoint here. The first thing that we're going to be talking about is weekly tutor hours. So you guys may have seen in the administration appointments area where you're actually setting those settings for appointments, you can actually restrict the number of hours or number of appointments that a student is able to have. And this also goes for the tutors. So now we've actually added it for tutors to add their own specific weekly limits. So let's say they don't follow what every other tutor is going to be doing for, that specific term, then you guys can use this as well for individual tutors. So this is going to be the admin side, which is where you're able to enable this setting so that you guys can start using the weekly limits. And then it's also going to be where admins can view tutors and where they've set those limits on their schedules. So this is something the tutors will have to add themselves, and that's what we're going to cover on our next slide here, which is going to be the tutor side of what the tutor hours look like. And what that's going to be is if they click on the top right, where their profile is, kind of like this icon that you see when you're in Accudemia, they're going to get the option to do My Schedule and manage weekly limits once they're in there. And we're going to be going into Accudemia and showing you guys how to set these as well. But before we do so, we actually are able to see here on this calendar that something that we want to note is we want to set these limits before the week starts. So today's Tuesday, we'd actually be on the 12th. We actually want to be able to set it before Monday starts. So for example, we've got next week selected here. So we want to set those things in advance so that there's not, maybe some appointments already scheduled that week. And then the last part is this is by the number of hours. So like in the settings I had mentioned, we do have the number of appointments, but this is strictly number of hours. So let's say, maybe a tutor gets some sort of final because they're a student tutor and they want to limit their number of appointments for that week, they could do so. So what we're going to do is I'm going to drag over my Accudemia window here. And from here, I'm going to show you guys where we can enable that. So that's going to be that admin side first. So I'm going to go into administration. We'll just go down to the control panel. And this is where we're going to want to go into appointments. Now, this is a center level setting. So you will need to go in at your center and enable it for each one. And if we go down to, I'm just going to scroll down, it's going to be in this restrictions section. And then if we go a little bit further, we've got the maximum hours per week. And right underneath that, since it's hours and per week, we do have this additional setting because these were here originally for, defaults for all tutors and students. But this is the one that's going to allow us to make it for a specific tutor. So we want to enable that. We're going to have it checked. And we always want to make sure to save our changes in the top right. And once that's been saved, the last part is where you can view as an admin. So to be able to do that, we're going to go to our centers here. And we're going to go to tutor schedule. And then we could look at our staff weekly limits. You can see I've actually got one in here for myself. And it's basically showing the center that it's at, the week range that we're working with. So that's going to be that next week that we've set up. We've got the name of the tutor and the number of hours. So if we had multiple tutors in here, we'd be able to see that as well. And where the tutors are able to add this so that this shows up, since I'm also a tutor, I'm going to start from the home page here. We're able to click on my name in the top right, and the tutor will want to click on my schedule. And as you can see, we've got the manage weekly limits. So just to show, this is like if you guys were editing your availability with the calendar, you've got the manage weekly limits up here. And now you can see that I've got that one that we saw as the admin, but since I'm the actual tutor as well, I'm able to, edit this, delete, or if I needed to, I can create a new limit. And to create that, really, you're just assigning the center that you'd be working in for that week, setting the week that you'd be doing it for. So we've already got a limit for this week, so we can only set one limit per week. So we would want to go to like maybe the next week, and then I could set like maybe I need 8 hours. I can do maybe a little bit more that week, and then we could go ahead and save our changes. Then you see that both of those are going to show up as limits that we can then either edit or delete. Other than that, that's really kind of wraps up the tutor weekly limits. So that's our first part of the 11.3 update. So moving back to our PowerPoint here, we're going to go to our next slide, and that's going to be covering our next feature, which is the sample email campaign templates. These are going to be useful just to give you an idea of kind of how you can use some of the key fields within these templates. So we do have 3 new ones. It's going to be the student athletes required hours, new student welcome and raffle, and then class outreach. And where you're able to do these is going to be inside of the email templates module that we've recently added. So bringing the window of Accudemia back over, starting from our home page, we're going to be able to go to campus. Actually, my bad, centers here. And then it's going to be our email campaigns. And once we're in here, basically these new templates are going to show up. Once we create like a new campaign, we can select a template. So you can see these 3 show here as new ones. These can, be edited, or you could potentially, just get an idea of how they're being used. And where these are going to be shown is if we go out of here to not use the template, but rather manage them, we can go in here and get an idea of, when we go to create a new one, making something very similar to what we had saw in there. Other than that, that's going to be roughly what we have here. So moving back, we've got our last feature in our 11.3 update, and that's going to be our updates to the Wiggins bot that we've recently added as well. So we've been working to improve this to make this as fast as possible for you guys. So it's now up to 70% faster with the recent document changes that we've been doing. And we've been making sure to add any changes that we've added with these recent updates to the documents as well. So Wiggins is completely up to date to answer your questions. So this is faster, and we've actually gotten it down to it's within seconds. So that's pretty fast for you guys to be able to get an answer if you're trying to maybe think of something that has escaped you. And then the last part is we've updated the documentation for AccuKiosk, and that's going to be our new kind of like kiosk mobile app for either iPads, iPhones, Android devices. You're able to get a mobile kiosk to allow people to sign in for their classes, centers, and events. And that wraps up our updates for 11.3. This is where we can open up to any questions about the updates. And if there's no questions about those, we can open up to general questions.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for coming, and I hope you all have a great rest of your week. Take care.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.